G'day folks, Rod from My Water Filter here today, and what we're going to do is take a look at the installation of the whole house triple water filter. Now obviously if you're in the city you'll be having a plumber come and do that. Here today we're out on the farm and there's no watermark issues here, so I'm going to install it myself. And just keep in mind it is really just to show you how to install one and what's going on. When your plumber comes, you'll know what to expect if it's in the city, and if you're out on the farm then you can possibly do it yourself. And take a look and we'll go through the procedure here. So here's the whole house water filter. It's just arrived in the box. So the first thing we want to do, step one, is obviously unpack the filter, take a look at it, make sure it's made its way to us in one piece. Couriers can have some damage at time to time. Make sure that the person that packed the water filter for you has included the correct parts and you've got everything to start. And I highly recommend, if you're in the city and you've got a plumber booked, etc., to get the water filter first, have a look at it, make sure you've got all the parts before the plumber comes along, all right? Because there's nothing worse than getting him called out and then when he gets there, it's missing a gauge or it's missing something, okay? So I'm just going to quickly unbox this one now. We'll have a quick look at what we got and then we can get into it. So obviously we get the box, we open him up, pretty simple stuff. This one here comes complete with 3 gauges, okay? So here's the gauges. We're good to go with gauges, and there's 3 of those, so they're all good. I would take them out and have a look at them. You never know if the glass could get cracked on a gauge or something like that in transport, so take a look at it, okay? You also got the whole house tool to undo the housings, etc. There is the, we always send out an installation instruction with it, so grab hold of the installation instruction, have a look at that. If you're in the city you might have a Limetron or a Home Edge or a grander unit if you're lucky enough. And make sure that you have got all of the installation diagrams so you know at what positioning those components go, all right? And there's also generally a little bag and a book with some information on that for you as well. Okay, so here's our filter. They're already nicely put together, ready to go basically, okay? And then once we just fix it to the wall or whatever, it'll be adhered in place and then we'll be able to start connecting up the pipework, etc. When we are connecting it onto the wall, today we're going into a steel wall. I'm just going to Tech screw it on there today so that it's nice and easy for us. But if I was connecting onto a steel wall like this, I would bolt this water filter to the wall, okay? I wouldn't mess around. Cyclones, storms, the extra weight of the system when it's full of water, all of those things, I certainly would just bolt it straight onto the wall so it's really good and secure, okay? If you're going to bolt concrete into the ground to have a frame, if you want to set it up on a frame, I'd be getting some good concrete footings in the ground. Once again, severe storms, cyclones, whatever might come to your part of the world. You want this thing to be as solid as a rock. It is the water for your home and you don't want it bursting at the wrong time, okay? When you look at our installation instructions, you'll notice that there's a bypass. We try to recommend and have a bypass put in. So that bypass is important as well. If anything ever went wrong with the filter, if you want to keep water supplied to the house while you're changing the cartridges, if you're in the city and you want to put some chlorinated water right through the house after it's been on unchlorinated water for some time, that's a great thing to do as well. So a bypass is highly recommended and we'll give you a look at that here today as well. Okay, so we'll jump into it. I'll get a bit organised now for the next part, which is going to be lifting up the filter and fixing it to the wall, and then we'll go from there. Okay, now what we want to do now is elevate the whole house water filter into position and we're going to fix it onto the wall, okay? Now, if you are screwing into brick, you might be putting wall plugs in and large Tech screws. I mentioned before about steel, probably bolting. Going into wood, I'd probably bolt it into that as well if it's possible. So just make sure that you've got some serious fixtures in this water filter however you're applying it, because it's ultimately important that it's fixed to the wall well, okay? Now, probably a good way I like to do things here is just to make it a little easier on yourself is to just put something to lift it up onto. I'm going to use this big old cupboard bench here today. Makes it a bit easier, and I'm just not trying to support it, hold it up, drill it at the same time. If you got somebody else with you, obviously it's a bit easier. You can hold the other end, so forth. But we'll get it here and we'll screw him onto the wall here now, lock him into place, and once we've done that, we'll get hold of the cartridges and we'll have a quick look at the cartridges. Because once again, when you get it to your home. It'd be great if you're able to pull the cartridges out. Just make sure you've got all 3 cartridges in there, nothing's broken in transit, that sort of thing. If you're unable to do that, when the plumber gets it here and he fixes it to the wall, get him to pull these cartridges out and have a look at them before any water goes through the system. These carbon cartridges are possibly still got the plastic wrapping on them even. So they'll need to be taken out of the housings, remove the plastic wrapping, inspect them and put them back. All right, so we've locked him in place here now. I'm going to put 1 tech screw in and then we're going to level it up and make sure that she's happy, okay? Alright, pretty simple stuff. As you can see, having a bench or a support underneath it just makes it so much easier because we're able to, not having to hold it up, takes the weight off it, etc. Okay? Now we're going to get the level, just make sure she's pretty level, and that's looking pretty good there to me. Okay. Okay, so she's pretty well hanging there now. Okay. Okay, simple as that. Couple of screws into the wall and she's fixed in place. And then we will have a look at installing the gauges and removing the cartridges and having a quick look. So I'll just pull them out for you now. Generally the water's coming in from the left-hand side. It says in on the top here. It says out on the top here, on this side here. So we're going to have some sediment protection of some description here normally. Carbon, heavy metal, that sort of thing, depending on what you've opted in for. All right, so push the housing tool on. Shouldn't be hard to take these on and off, folks. Okay, shouldn't be hard at all. If you tighten them up too tight, then they'll be harder to get off the next year. Okay, there's our polyspun sediment cartridge, holes in each end obviously. Not too much with these, okay? It's only taking the dirt and lumps and bumps out. Might have a ring in the top, even if it's got a couple of nips on it, it's all right, as long as it doesn't penetrate into the cartridge, all right? That's good to go. When you put them back in, there is a stump at the bottom and it has to go into the hole. So just make sure that when you push it in, it does sit down into the housing properly on the stump. And then when it goes up inside, there's another stump up in here. There is a set of fingers to centralise it. So as long as you put him up and it's nice and vertical, straight, as you put him on, give him a little rattle. You generally do it all the way up by hand, and then you get the tool, just put the tool on. That's all it takes, just an inch or so, just to nip it up tight. Good rubbers inside, doesn't take too much at all, okay? Same with the carbons here. It's a seam in the top there. There's the ring, seals when you tighten him up. Once again, just pulling him out. Just want to have a look and make sure it hasn't been cracked or broken or dropped or run over in transit. There is a bit of plastic on the bottom of that one. Make sure you've got a rubber washer on the top and the bottom. If that's the case, good to go. Got the stump inside, and we're going to sit that cartridge in over the top of that. Beautiful. As you can see, I've got a little bit of carpet down here today just to give us something to work on. It's good to have something on the ground. You don't want to be working on the dirt and the sand. There is a little bit of grease on these seals. You want to keep them nice and clean. And you can see how easy this is doing up when it's brand new. There's no reason that this shouldn't do up like this all the time for years, okay? All you got to do is when you change your cartridges once a year, get a little bit of O-ring lubrication grease, water filter grease, and just apply it onto the O-ring. Keep the O-rings nice and soft and malleable and lubricated. A little bit of grease on this thread here, and you'll be good to go. Beautiful. Really gently, they just slide right on beautifully. Keep them lubricated, never have any worries. Simple as that, simple as that. Nearly do it up with your hands. Then we just nip him up, tighten him at the end. And that's it, simple as that, okay? That's it, mounting it on the wall, inspecting the cartridge, make sure it's all good. And we'll come back in a second. We'll put some gauges in and start putting some connections and fittings on. Okay, now where we're at now is taking care of the gauge hole threads in the top, okay? So this is where the gauges would go in. Now, not everybody uses gauges, so sometimes you'll get a bag of plugs anyway. So when you purchase the water filter, you get a little bag like this. It'll have 3 black plugs in it, and the black plugs are to go into the gauge hole threads. Now, today we're going to put gauges in. If we didn't have gauges to go in, here's a gauge hole plug out of the bag. I've wrapped 6 wraps of thread tape around it, and you simply just put him in the top there, and we just screw the gauge plug all the way down into the hole. There is a rubber O-ring on it as well, but we do like to wrap 6 wraps of thread tape around it, really lock it on there. If it's going to be on there for 20 years or a long time, then let's do it right the first time. So we lock him on there, screw him up tight, and he's locked in place. Then later on, if you ever want to install some gauges, you're free to do so. It'll be the same process in reverse. You'll just come along and unscrew the gauge plug, take it out, and then we're good to install our gauges. So here's the gauges. I'll take one out of the box here as well. You would inspect these when you've got your water filter. You never know if something gets dropped, broken, thrown, etc. Want to make sure the glass is correct. Do take note that our gauges generally will come with liquid inside of them. Now this isn't water, it's proper gauge liquid oil, and the better quality gauges will have the liquid on the inside, all right? So it's not a faulty one, it's not full of water, that's how they come, all right? Now same thing applies here. We want to put some thread tape on, okay? And generally, 6 to 8 wraps is the way to go. And when we wrap him on, we always want to wrap him on clockwise, the same way that we're going to be installing or screwing the thread into the top of the housing there, all right? So if you can see what I'm doing, I'm laying that thread tape on there, get him organised. Once you get one wrap around, you're sort of pretty good to go, okay? So we've got 2 wraps, 3 wraps, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to hold him there and break him off, okay? Now what we don't want is any thread tape coming over the end of the gauge and blocking up the gauge hole or anything like that. Do keep the tape on the thread and do try and keep him nice and neat, okay? Once you've done that, take your time. Make sure there's nothing in the gauge hole, dirt, sand or other, okay? And you're good to go. Now when we put these in, they're brand new, these threads. They can be tight, okay? Sometimes you'll just get them and they'll screw in beautifully. Take your time to make sure that that gauge is in the right thread right to start with. If it's not spinning free and easy, chances are you've cross-threaded it. They are a plastic head cap, but if you just take a minute and screw them in right, you'll be laughing. Not many people make a mess here, but just take your time and get them right. Once you get them right, as you can see, that's going in a piece of cake, all right? We've got 2 more here, and it's exactly the same situation, all right? No tape over the front, nice and clean. Put him in, and we're just going to take our time to make sure, there we go. You feel it when it sits in there nice and flat and she's good to go. And then we're going to screw him up. Now, if you have issues where you can only get it to here and it's too tight, you don't really want to turn it any further, then you might have to take it out and maybe only go for 5 wraps of thread tape. But I find 6, I'm putting a bit of pressure on there now, will normally lock him up and work very well. 6 to 8 wraps around here with thread tape, you should be good to go. Be aware, there is different quality of thread tape. Normally here in Australia, we get the good quality plumber's tape in the blue and white rolls, and they work an absolute treat for us. And there we go, just get him nice and straight. Good job. Okay, now there we go. Gauges are all installed, and she's starting to take a bit of shape and actually look like a water filter. All right. Now, these are very good systems. We've been selling them for many years. I know they've been imported into Australia for about 30, 35 years, and they've been working well all that time. Now, what you can do here at this point of time is basically we're at the stage to plumb it up and put the plumbing and the pipe work in. You can screw straight into the thread, plastic thread here, with your first connection, whatever it might like to be. But this is something I like to do, and it's just to get a brass connection. This is a brass nipple. It is 1 inch on this side and 3/4 on the other. We've wrapped 8 wraps of thread tape around it, and I like to screw these brass nipples straight into the filter like so, and lock them in there, and they're in there forever, okay? And then if we change our mind later on and we want to put a connection on and off, change the pipe work, add a UV, move the filter, whatever it is, we just pull the pipe work off, and we're pulling it on and off of a good, strong, hard brass thread. So she's good to go forever, okay? It'll be the same here on this side. We'll screw this one in here. If you put a lot of thread tape on it, sometimes you might get to the point where you want to just push it in and push it in a bit as you're screwing it. Once it gets started, it'll pull itself in, but you might put a bit of weight behind it, just push it a touch to get him started. But once that goes on, she's good to go. I'll tighten those up in a touch with a spanner, and then we'll be ready to come and put all the rest of the pipe work on. So we'll leave him there for now, and we'll be back in a sec, and we'll connect up all the rest of the pipe work, and we're starting to look like something with the bypass. Cool. Okay, now what we're going to do, we've screwed in these extra strong brass nipples on each side of the filter, so we've got a good solid steel connection to connect onto. I'm just going to tighten this one up. I've just tightened that one. We'll just tighten this one on this end here as well, okay? So we've got about our 8 wraps of thread tape on, and then we're just going to tighten him up. Now, we don't want a big, massive tool on here, and we don't want to just tighten it up until you break the housing, okay? So he's on there, and I'm just putting a bit of pressure on him, and he's tight. That's beautiful, just nice and tight, all right? You haven't got to jump on it, just tighten him up. If it leaked for some reason, probably apply some more thread tape. Don't just keep tightening it up. Don't just keep tightening the nipple up until it's digging into the plastic and cutting into it. It's just too tight, okay? And uncalled for. You get a good old plumber, you'll never see him swinging and tightening things up that tight. You'll just never get him out ever again. So we're good to go. That's a beautiful fitting, and we've got now steel connections on each side, good to go, okay? Now, depending where you live, depending what's going on, all right? If we're in the city and the plumber's coming along and he's installing this for you, my best shot is he's going to be using good old Australian copper pipe, okay? And then he's going to use some form of a copper fitting. Nowadays, the shark bite connections and things like that, these connections here are used commonly, okay? So he's going to put some thread tape on, he'll screw his copper connection onto the outside, and you might just have your copper pipe just running along the wall outside your house, okay? He'll just put a bend on it and he's going to install it in here. And these connections are very simple in the sense that they just push in and they lock in. That ain't coming out, all right? You'll just never get out. They're a bit like the John Guest water filter connections. The only way to get these out is to push this collar in, and once you push that collar in, then we can pull it out. Without pushing that collar in, you'll never get these out. But copper fittings could be used, and very common in the city, I would expect. On the newer homes nowadays, we might find that they're using poly pipe, black poly pipe, from the water meter across to the house. I'm okay with that, but when the poly pipe gets to the filter, I don't really like to use poly pipe, elbows and connections and O-rings and tightening O-rings up with poly connections. The reason for that is they get hot, they expand and move when they get hot. There is O-rings inside them, etc. They can create air leaks and you can get a leak in them. So poly pipe, same as on the farm, great thing. Poly pipe from the water tank, the bore, whatever, bring it all the way to the position where the filter is going to be installed. Then once you get it there, let's adapt that poly pipe to a PVC, just like the old white PVC pipe. That's what we're going to connect this one up with here today. It's very easy to work with and use. You can cut it to size. Once it's glued together, it's glued, it's fixed in position, nothing's moving about, there's no movement there. It's just a great way to go. So that's what we'll do here today. So no matter how you bring the water to the system, once you get it there, I do like to use the PVC pipe, and it's a very easy way to install things, okay? So we also like to put a bypass on it. So as you can see, down the bottom here on the ground, is the main water line, okay? So we've turned the water off, everything's off, and I'm going to pull this out, and we're going to cut it, and then we'll start to install the pipework for our system, all right? And what else we can do is then we'll start at the top here, apply the thread tape, and we'll work our lines down to the ground, okay? So here we go, we'll start over here. I'll grab a little bit of thread tape, and we can start to roll, all right? So once again, thread tape, I'm going to put him on. Got a good 6 rolls of thread tape around the thread, especially these brass connections, because they are a real deep, chunky thread, all right? And that's what can distinguish how much thread tape you need, is how deep the connections are, or how deep, sorry, the thread is in your connections. I'd have no dramas sticking an extra wrap or two around these brass fittings, all right? So on with the thread tape, and you may notice I'm wrapping that thread tape on clockwise, the same direction that we're going to install our PVC fitting, okay? So I was turning it clockwise, now I'm going to put the PVC fitting on, and we're going to turn that on clockwise. And it's locking the thread tape on as we're going, not unwinding it, okay? Now if you just screw this all the way up by hand until you hit the face of the original brass fitting you put in, you haven't got enough thread tape on. That's starting to lock up nice and tight there at about 7 turns, whatever we put on that tape, and that's looking good. That's a beautiful thing, okay? So obviously this is just simple PVC pipe, and we'll just get some PVC pipe and cut them, and we'll join it down to the ground, and we'll be good to go. So what we're going to do from here is obviously we're going to have an elbow. We're going to bring that water down to the ground. So we're just going to cut a little bit of pipe on the size that we want it to be, coming out of the system there, okay? Very good. So we're going to get all our burrs off and all the muck off. Make sure she's good to go, nice and neat and clean. Now, at this point of time, we normally can glue it up with PVC glue, push it into the connection, give it a spin and turn so that we get the glue wrapped around the connections inside, locked into place, and it's good to go. What I would also do is you might want to cut 2 of these right now at the same time, so you've got the same sizes on each side, or take note of your measurement, whatever you like. Some blue glue, and we put him in and give him a turn, and he's locked into place. Today, I'm just going to push these together for you so you can see what's going on, but generally you'll glue these up and should be all good to go, locked into place, okay? From there, we'll be coming down, and then we'll put a on-off ball valve on here, okay? Same old trick, get our thread tape, wrap him on. Okay, now these have got a bit of depth to them, so you're almost doing a double wrap, so keep that in mind, and I'll probably end up putting about 5 wraps at the front through to about 7 at the back. So as you're screwing it on, it's building up onto the thread tape, which is bulkier at the tail. Okay, and then that's going to screw into our on-off ball valve. And on we go. Okay. From there, we're going to come down to the T-piece at the bottom, and that's when we'll cut our main line and we can connect into our main line there, okay? Okay, this one's going to go into there, and we'll connect her up. There's our main line. I'm going to cut that now. Beautiful. Obviously we'll be putting our blue PVC glue around all these fittings. We want them to be glued together and not leak. Okay, and that's basically the first side, and we're good to go. So we'll jump on the other side, connect up the same thing, we're looking good. Okay. And if you are wondering, this is the glue that we'd use, just a blue PVC glue. Is available in different colours for different sizes, different things, tasks and jobs you're doing. But that's the glue. Slap him around, put him on, push him into place. Bit of glue on this one, screw him on, push him into place. Job's right. Very easy to work with, I find. Okay. From there, match up this one a bit as we can. Okay. We'll put a bit of thread tape on one of these, although you should be getting the picture now on what's the go. And we're simply screwing him into here. Bit of glue on the side, around there, screw him on. Good to go. Okay. Good. Beautiful. Okay, now we'll get this one in the middle. We're going to have, this is the bypass, okay? So we're going to get the bypass in the middle so as we can flush water straight through without utilising the system if we want, and then we'll almost be done. There, oh yeah. What a bit of run with that bit. Beautiful. See, it's not quite centre, is it? Let's make that. Just about pretty good, I reckon. Okay, so she's starting to take a little bit of shape here now, as you can see. So regardless of what pipe you use, this can be copper pipes. I've seen some fantastic plumbers in the city that are old school fellas that are still welding the copper pipe with their oxyacetylene, you know. So it is a bit old fashioned, and some people can laugh, but by crikey, those things will never wear out, they'll never blow apart, they'll never break. So if you can get a good old plumber that's happy to bronze up the copper connections, he's a winner. Get hold of him. So your whole thing will look exactly like this, but it could be in copper pipe like so, all right? And that's what you most commonly find in the cities, especially on anything that's established, older homes. Nowadays, they are changed a little bit. They're starting to use the shark bite and the rolls of pipe and things like that. But good old copper pipe like this, bypass along the bottom, and then the water up through the system whenever we want to filter it. That's just a beautiful way to have it, okay? Failing that, PVC like this, just perfect, all right? Can be done in polypipe, seen it done in polypipe plenty of times, just not what I would do. Polypipe's a lot harder than what we just did here, I feel, but it's all good to go. If you think that you might need to pull it apart at times, you can always have a connector in between these. I didn't worry about connectors today. I can cut this rejoiner if I need to, but it's only a demonstration, so it's a pretty easy one. But this is basically it. So the main line was along the ground all the time since we started, and we basically just cut it at that point here with a T-piece, and we've just run an offshoot off of that. So when we want to have good water going through the filter, because at the moment the water's still going through the main line. You can see that this ball valve is in line with the pipe. That means it's open. When the ball valve's closed, it's like that. It's across the pipe. So in line with the pipe, the ball valve's open. Across the pipe, the ball valve's shut. So she's closed off either side of the filter. We're open on the main line and the water's going through the main line. City chlorinated houses, feel free to open this line up. If you're going away for the weekend, if you're just going away or you've got a bit of time, open up this line, close those two, flush water, chlorinated water right through your house and just go away for the weekend and let it sit. And just kill all the bugs. When you come home, close up the main line, open the filter, start sending filtered water. That gives your house a good sterilisation, you might say, while you're away. A good shot anyway, okay? And in any other time, we want to just turn off the main line water supply, open up the water supply to the filter. It'll come up and come in. You'll see your gauges will start to shoot up with pressure. Water will go through the sediment cartridge, take the lumps and bumps out, through the first carbon, second carbon, taking out the chlorine and the chemical. You could put an argon cartridge in here, would be gold. That'll take out virus, heavy metal, anything like that, and come out this side here. Open up this tap and the water's flowing down and it's flowing directly into the house and away you go. Okay, so I hope that helps and gives you a bit of an idea. If we could help in any way, please do give us a call and it'd be our pleasure to help you out in any way. Thanks very much.